start today, I want to thank each and every single one of you that has kept the UK going this week, because it's been horrendous, hasn't it? It's been absolutely boiling, and we need our politicians to declare a maximum working temperature now. And they need to make sure that employers have to put measures in place before it happens, not scrambling about like we've seen this week because air conditioning units don't work and it's 40 odd degrees in a workplace and bus drivers are collapsing and firefighters are having to go fight against fires in the moors. We need something in place prior to that, but that's not what I want to talk about today. I just wanted to get that in my 7 minutes. It's a real privilege to be here at the 20th National Shop Stewards Network Conference, particularly this year when we're marking 100 years since the general strike. When workers withdrew their labour back in 1926, they weren't simply fighting over pay packets. They were fighting over power and dignity. They were fighting for the right of working class people to live decent lives. And 100 years later, shamefully, that struggle is continuing. Because today, in one of the richest countries in the world, millions upon millions of working class people are facing a different kind of crisis. They're going to work, working incredibly hard, especially in weather like this. Long hours, multiple jobs, yet are still worrying about how they're going to put food on the table for themselves and their families. That should shame every government and every employer in the UK. I'm speaking today not just as the General Secretary of the Bakers, Food and Allied Workers Union, but also as the Vice Chair of the Right to Food Commission, where we're working alongside academics, campaigners, trade unions, and most importantly, people with lived experience to develop a roadmap to end food poverty in the UK by 2035. And one thing's become abundantly clear through that work. Food poverty is not a food problem. It's an income problem, a wages problem, a housing problem, a social security problem, but fundamentally it's a power problem. And the answer, friends, cannot simply be more food banks. Food banks have become an incredible demonstration of community solidarity, and the volunteers there deserve enormous respect, and they should not be criticised for stepping in when successive governments have failed us. But friends, we can't allow ourselves to become comfortable with their existence. Food banks were never meant to become part of the welfare state, and they were never meant to become a permanent feature of working class life. And they certainly were never meant to become something that employers could quietly rely upon while paying poverty wages. Our members make, process, transport and sell food that keeps this country going, yet our own cost of living survey found almost half had experienced food insecurity in the previous year. Think about that. The very people producing Britain's food are struggling to afford to eat it. And I know from speaking to hundreds of people up and down the UK through the work with the Commission that our members are not alone. There is something fundamentally broken about an economy that allows supermarket profits to rise whilst people filling the shelves are skipping meals. When food workers are relying on food banks and when parents are regularly going without food so their children don't have to. This is not inevitable. This is a result of political choices, and for too long we've been told that poverty is an unfortunate consequence of economics. Put my teeth back in. It's not. It's a consequence of decisions made in Westminster. Decisions to suppress wages, weaken collective bargaining, cut social security, and to leave millions trapped in insecure work, and decisions to accept that hunger is somehow normal. Well, we reject that, not only in the Bakers Union, but as the Food Commission too. And we've started with the Commission from a very simple principle. Food is not a luxury. It is not charity. Food is a human right, and everyone should have access to decent, nutritional, affordable food. And that means everyone, whether you've got a recourse to public funds or not. But rights are only meaningful, aren't they, if they can actually be exercised. And that means decent wages, secure work, properly funded social security, affordable housing, universal free school meals, allowing asylum seekers and refugees to work whilst they're waiting for their asylum claims to go through. And it means making sure no worker has to choose between heating their home or feeding their family. But above all, it means rebuilding the power of working people, because let's be honest, no government has ever gifted working people a better standard of living out of generosity. Every advance that we have won has been fought for, whether that be paid holidays, health and safety, minimum wage, trade union rights. None of them have arrived because employers woke up one morning feeling generous. They arrived because organised workers, people like you in this room, demanded them. And that's why the trade union movement has such a central role in ending food poverty. Every worker we organise, every recognition agreement we win, every pay rise we secure, every insecure contract we challenge, every workplace where we build confidence and collective action, all of that is right to food work. Because the strongest protection against hunger has and always will be a strong trade union. So as we commemorate the centenary of the general strike, let's remember its greatest lesson. Solidarity is not just something that we celebrate, it's absolutely something that we continue to build. The generation of 1926 understood that an injury to one is an injury to all, and our challenge in 2026 is to make sure that no working class person is left facing hunger whilst wealth continues to accumulate at the top. We won't pay for the boss's crisis. We won't accept a society where working people go hungry. Come and talk to me about the Commission and how you can engage. I've got leaflets and QR codes. And together, through collective action, through organising, through solidarity, we will build a country where the right to food is not an aspiration but a reality, whether the politicians want it or not. Solidarity, everyone enjoy the day.